through this real quick, and on the back of this video, we're going to piggyback. What is today? Today is Tuesday. Yeah, we're going to piggyback Wednesday's games. Get them all set, ready to go. A light night tonight, a light night tomorrow, so we can get through this stuff pretty quick. So let's take a look at how we're doing tonight. So as we speak, there's one game left to final out. That is Seattle U hosting New Mexico State. There's about 9 minutes left there. So hopefully by the time we're done, that game will be final. If not, we'll just gonna let it ride, and we'll update y'all tomorrow. Okay, game one, Colgate hosting American U, laying 13.5. We say 20. Final score, 63-49 Colgate. That looks like a win and a cover. So yeah. Oh, only by half a point though. Wow. But I stuck with that one. That looked like a rout. And I guess 14 points is a bit of a no, not really. Anyways, Howard hosting Coppin State, laying 7.5. We say 14. Howard's our play. And Howard loses 82-86 to Coppin State. 82-86. And that's a bit of a surprise, but it's the MEAC. So if you don't know, there's certain conferences that the computer just gets wrong. And oddly, they're all the really bad conferences. So the MEAC is an awful conference full of one good team, and that's Norfolk State, who plays tonight. So we'll see how well they did. The SWAC, the Southwest Athletic Conference, which is your Gramblings and your Mississippi Valley State and your Arkansas Pine Bluff and so on. And the third one is the MEAC, SWAC, and the Southland. We'll talk about the Southland later. Florida State on the road at Boston College, laying 1.5. Boston College crushed them. 55-71 was the final here. So this is one of those no-effort games. Florida State, I'm sure they got all kinds of room. They got no problem. They can dish out losses like it's currency, right? They got, they're just gonna, everyone's gonna make it into the tournaments. Who cares? Why go up and work hard? Syracuse hosting Georgia Tech, laying 8.5. I gotta make this so red here. Laying 8.5. And final score, we agree. We say we say Syracuse by 11. And final score here, Syracuse by 1, 74-73. Well, we got that top line number again. There it is again. Happens a lot. So that's a loss. Lafayette hosting Holy Cross, laying 7.5. We say it's a 5-point game. Ooh, wait a minute. We should have taken Holy Cross here. We should. All right. Oh, I think I know what happened. We should have taken Holy Cross here, but we paid for the ticket to say Lafayette. Okay, we have to play what the ticket says. So I don't know if that's going to break for us or against us. Lafayette wins 84-61. People, I swear I didn't know this. I swear I did not know that. I've done some underhanded things in my life. That's not one of them. That's just me dumb lucking into a victory. 3-2. Ohio State hosting Indiana. 6.5 is the line. We said it's a 1-point game. We're taking Indiana because we're just naive. We think Indiana is going to go up there and play hard. 80-69 Ohio State. We're just stupid, naive kids who, doggone it, if the breaks go our way, we got a shot against Ohio State. No way. No way. There's zero effort, and nobody gets fired. No scholarships get ripped up, and we just move on. Hey, you got the tournament. Who cares about this? Why should we go bust our ass? All right, I promise to keep this short. North Carolina hosting Louisville. The line's 9.5. We say North Carolina by 12, so that's our play. North Carolina, 70-63. So North Carolina wins by 7. And that's a loss. We got a money line situation here. I think kind of doubtful. Maryland hosting Penn State, laying 2.5. We say Penn State wins the game. So we're on the other side of the line. We're underdog to win. That's the money line. And final score, Maryland wins 67-61. And, this was the top line number. Okay. It's so weird that I keep hitting that top line number. It's being represented as the bottom line number here, but remember these money lines are upside down because we're having the dog win the game. Middle Tennessee hosting UTEP, laying 5.5. We say 5-point game, so UTEP's our play. And final score here, Middle Tennessee 77-59. I like Middle Tennessee, but that's just UTEP going. We're not interested tonight. Florida A&M. This is a SWAC game. Florida A&M hosting Alabama. I get them wrong all the time. Laying 6.5. We say it's a 3-point win for FAMU, and Alabama A&M is our play. Final score. It didn't pop right up here. Florida A&M. Alabama A&M wins 71-63. You just never know with the SWAC. It's just anyone's guess from night to night, team to team. It's just a total crapshoot, and I think that's just the factor of all the teams are bad, like really bad. South Carolina State hosting Delaware State. 11 halves in line. We say 16. Delaware State's been terrible this year. South Carolina State's been decent. It's a MEAC game, so that's another one I struggle with. South Carolina State. Okay, that didn't pop up. I'm stuck with this damn. You got to speak the website speaks. Oh, so South Carolina State wins 79-74. And I'm all kinds of disoriented, so that's a loss. We didn't cover. We got the win, but we didn't cover. And here's Norfolk, the one lone team that really kind of stands out in the MEAC, and they're playing Morgan State. They're at Morgan State, laying 5.5. We say it's a 17-point victory. Okay, that's how Norfolk's good. And final score. Norfolk loses 74-85. We said 58. Oh my goodness. So they had to travel to Morgan State. Yeah. All right, moving on. North Carolina Central hosting Maryland Eastern Shore, laying 5.5. We like Maryland Eastern Shore here, but it's the MEAC, so who knows what the hell's going to happen. Maryland. Oh my God. Okay, NC Central. Okay, we hit jackpot. That's how you do it, NC Central. Okay, NC Central loses 66-79. So we had Maryland Eastern Shore. That was the play. It's the play of the day. And as I've mentioned before, I even said the other night that I have a crush on Maryland Eastern Shore. I just want them to do well because they've been bad for over a decade. I mean, like maybe a handful of wins. I mean, terrible, but not anymore. They're turning that ship around. They're playing a lot better. The Sanford hosting the Citadel, laying 6.5. We say the Citadel covers the back end cover here. What's the final? Sanford wins 76-74. Look at that. Wow. Oh, how sweet is that? It's so close. It's so close. The predicted score and the actual final score. Wow. And it's a win for us. And we like the Citadel. SIU Edwardsville hosting Eastern Illinois, 7.5 line. That's right, folks. SIU Edwardsville is laying 7.5 to Eastern Illinois. So you can connect the dots, okay? What are you being told about Eastern Illinois right there? Not a good team. And 66-52 is the final here. So it was a 15-point win, just like the 14 point. Pretty close to what the computer said. So that's a win. And we go 3-2 this string. Valparaiso hosting Evansville. Evansville has seen better days. We say it's a 9-point victory. The line's 8.5. So Valpo is our play. And Valparaiso wins 74-69. 74-69. So what is that? A 5-point win? Yeah. 5-point win. So Valpo does not cover, and we lose this game at home against kind of a bad team. Northern Colorado hosting Idaho State, laying 12.5. We say 15, so Northern Colorado's our play. And there's just nothing lining up. Okay, 77-70 was the final, and that's another loss. We're just not covering. Drake hosting Indiana State, 11.5 line. We say 13, so Drake is our play. Drake just beat Loyola Chicago, so 74-58. Drake wins this game, and again, not too bad here. So that's a win for the computer. And remember, we're going to preview Wednesday night's matchup here. We're done with this. So Liberty on the road at Central Arkansas, laying 11.5. We say it's a 24-point victory for Liberty. So I'm not so sure I'm sold. 85-66 Liberty. Nice. 85-66. We said it'd be 24, and it ended up being 19. So we sort of split the difference there with Vegas. Loyola Chicago on the road at Illinois State, laying 8.5. We say 18, but in the real world, Illinois State, they're not bad. In the real world, Loyola Chicago by 9, 59-50. Oh, we win and cover. I kind of talked myself out of that win, but nope, we got to keep it. So another 3-2. We haven't checked where we're at for the night. I don't think it's spectacular. I mean, I'd be happy if we're 500, but I don't think we are. And now we're 10-10. 10-10. We're 1,016 and 1,015 on the 147 money lines. That's what I keep coming back to. It's an amazing amount of money lines. So if you want to hit some money lines, we're your guys. But the monkey flinging poo at a spinning wheel could do it just as well as we're doing on this contest. Marshall at Southern Miss, laying 5.5. We say Marshall wins by 14. What's the final score? Marshall 74-60. They win by 14. Wow. So that's a win. Southern Utah at Northern Arizona, laying 6.5. Northern Arizona had a little sign of life. I still never bought into them yet. Southern Utah beat them 79-48. And that's another win. Well, we've won 5 in a row here. TCU hosting West Virginia, laying 3.5. We say West by God. Virginia is going to hang tight with TCU tonight. 1-point victory. There I play. West Virginia. Final score, TCU by 10. I built that up like I'm trying to sell you something. And we fall short there. So that ends our win streak. And off to Prairie View A&M at Mississippi Valley State. Now, folks, because I don't know how this game ends, but Mississippi Valley State has one victory, okay? One victory. And they play in the SWAC, okay? You can connect the dots on that. And Prairie View A&M is laying 17.5. Yes, Prairie View A&M. Long history of championship seasons. And, historic, players and coaches coming through that program. No, maybe not so much. All right, quit being an idiot. Prairie View wins by 5, 69-64. You just can't figure it out. You can't figure out the MEAC, and you can't figure out the SWAC, and you can't figure out the Southland. There's just no figuring it out. Nothing makes sense. From night to night, it's completely topsy-turvy. Okay, looks like we got two more. We have two more SWAC games, and I just looked ahead here. It's adorable. I'm picking a money line on a SWAC game. That's funny. That's funny. Texas Southern, there's two fairly decent teams in the SWAC. Texas Southern's one of them. Arkansas Pine Bluff has, I believe, 3 wins on the year. So it's a 9.5-point line. We say by 22. What's the final score here? Texas Southern. They win by 2. There is no sense this makes, well, they were on the road. God, I guess. Okay, 2 and 3. Knock back to reality here. And here's our money line. Alabama State. Okay, Bethune-Cookman at home, hosting Alabama State, laying 2.5. We say Alabama State wins the game, makes it a money line. Final score. Alabama State wins. Not just wins, ekes by 89-78. It's the SWAC. It's the SWAC. But that's a money line, so we'll take that. I mean, that's just anyone's guess, and we happen to guess right here. You just can't apply logic and reason to the SWAC, to the MEAC, and to the Southland. You will drive yourself crazy. Like I'm doing myself. Nah, we got those reversed. So I want this to be red, and I want this to be gold. Yeah, that looks better. And it's a money line. And so we go here. We update these manually, so we got another money line to add to the pile. 148 now on the year. 148. The money lines. I've got my theory, and it's more than a theory. I think so Vegas overplays this home court thing. Okay, so what happens is the good teams travel to a bad team, and then Vegas says, "No, bad team, you're favored to win." And now we're giving the good team points. Okay, pretend this is not Alabama State, not Bethune-Cookman. Pretend this is North Carolina here, and we're playing at Boston College. Okay. So North Carolina is a better team. Boston College is at home, so they're laying the points, right? And then when the better team surprisingly wins, North Carolina, in our example, we even have a cushion here, 2.5. So it's a weapon. The point spread is a weapon, and we use that weapon against Vegas, and that's the coolest part of it. Okay, UCLA hosting Arizona State, 14.5 is the line. We say 21. Final score on this one, 66-52. 66-52. Yeah. Well, I think that half point's going to, the half point got us. Half point got us. That kind of night. All right, Vegas, touche. Baylor at Oklahoma State, 4.5 is the line. We say 14. I don't feel so secure about this one. Baylor, 66-64. Yeah, so that's another loss. So we lose that one. There's no cover. San Francisco at Pacific, laying 13.5. So San Francisco is really good. Pacific is never ever any good. There's no commitment to winning at Pacific. However, they did pull a rabbit out of their hat, and they beat BYU a few weeks back at home. So I guess anything's possible. But I have all the faith in the world that San Francisco's just going to throttle them. San Fran, 104-71. That's a butt kicking. That's a butt kicking. That's back to reality with you, Pacific. So that's a win. I don't know why I get so mad at Pacific because I do. I get mad at because they're not committed to winning. Looks like I forgot to pick this one, but let's have for fun. So New Mexico State laying a point and a half over Seattle. We say New Mexico State by 2. So had we played this, and we're not going to count it, we would have taken New Mexico State. And this game is still underway, I believe. Yeah, with almost 4 minutes left, New Mexico State 57-52. But we didn't pull the trigger on it. So we're not going to count that. So we're going to finish the night here 2-2 string. And again, I'd be happy to get 500. How did we do? Okay, we're above 14 and no 14 wins, 15 losses, you bastards. Google Docs is so slow. God, that hurt. 14 and 13. Nope. 14 and 50. Why did I count the losses and not the wins? Because we were 2-2 that string. Let's do this. Let's do a little manual situation. Okay, let's go to the top here. 4, 7, 10, 12, 14. 6, 7, 8, 10. Right. 13, 15. Yeah, no, the calculator worked, I guess. All right, off to tomorrow's games. We do have some money lines, and I feel like at least listen to me on the money lines. The other ones, you're going to go 50-50. Okay, it's an established pattern. We're 50 and 50%. But I do believe this one, North Dakota is not good at all, and they're hosting St. Thomas. Now, they're not great, but they're better than North Dakota. And we have this as a money line, and I really like that play. I would play St. Thomas over North Dakota and play it as a money line. Yale at Dartmouth laying 2.5. We're taking Yale. This one's really interesting. Florida hosting Arkansas, laying half a point. We say it's a 6-point victory for the Hogs. Kent State hosting Ball State, 9.5 is the line. We say 10, so we're physically forced to take Kent State and hope for a bigger victory than 10. Akron hosting Bowling Green, 7.5 is the line. We say it's a 6-point game, so we're taking the dog here, taking Bowling Green. Buffalo at Miami of Ohio, laying 6.5. We say 13, so Buffalo's our play. Here's another money line, and this one was shocking. Northern Illinois has been awful all year long. Playing Eastern Michigan, maybe got duped a little bit by Eastern Michigan. So Northern Illinois has been playing better lately. They're 8-17. Yeah, and they put together a couple wins here. Very rare for Northern Illinois. And Eastern Michigan is 8-17. Okay, so 8-17 versus 8-17. Okay. The game is at Eastern Michigan. Okay, it works against what we're trying to do here. But we do have, and so Eastern Michigan's laying 3.5, but we do have Northern Illinois winning by 1. So that is a shaky money line bet. This one, we feel very confident. This one's just shaky one. But we're on the other side of the line just by 1 point. But that's all it takes. I don't like this play at all. I don't like it at all. St. Bonaventure is fantastic. Rhode Island was good and then decided to go on about a 7-game slide. They haven't really recovered from that. I think their good numbers are still kind of deceiving the computer here. I look for a 10-point victory, St. Bonaventure in this one. I would not play this game if I were you. Richmond at George Washington laying 5.5. We'd say it's a 12-point game. We're taking Richmond. Monmouth, I think their back's up against the wall. They're a better team than Siena, and they're hosting a game. That's a solid play. I would take Monmouth here. They're almost in a must-win situation, and I could get into it. But the MAC is very complicated, and every team they're all paired evenly with the exception of Iona. Um, but I don't. But Sienna's on the low end of the period. Monmouth's on the high end. So take the 6.5. Play Monmouth. Trap game here. As I've mentioned many times, Missouri is incredible at home. Okay. Now, I think some folks have figured them out because they've lost recently to Arkansas, and then was it Mississippi State beat them? Well, I just want to show you Missouri at home. If you haven't seen it, it's worth looking at. So they're not a good team. Okay, they're not. They're not a good team. Here's Missouri. Okay, and we're just going to look at recent history, just at their home games. So home game to Arkansas. Arkansas broke this little streak because Missouri beat Ole Miss. Okay, uh, lost by 1 to Florida at home. Lost by 1 to Auburn at home. And here's the coup de grace or whatever. They beat Alabama at home. Um, they lost by 3 to Texas A&M at home. So they're awful. They're an awful team, but they're great at home. 9-16. So be warned. Be warned. Don't You can't say I didn't tell you about Missouri. Okay. I still think that Tennessee's going to roll them, but there's always that chance. Okay. Um, Toledo is a good team. Western Michigan's not a good team. Toledo is at Western Michigan. The line's 12.5, which is a bit problematic, but they're really bad. Okay. And they're really good. So we saved by 27. So I don't have a problem with this. I would play this. I would put actual money down on this game. Texas A&M hosting Georgia. Georgia's not been playing that great. 11.5 the line. A&M by 14. We're taking Aggies. Pitt at home to Miami of Florida. Pitt's another like Missouri, but not to the extent Missouri is. They play well at home and awful on the road. And as soon as I say that, they go up to North Carolina, or go down rather to North Carolina to beat them. Pittsburgh did that. A terrible road team did that, because that's his tipsy-topsy, upside-down world, that college basketball. And why don't we try to make some picks with a computer? That's a good idea. We'll all get rich doing that. Northwestern hosting Nebraska, 10.5. And Northwestern wins and covers. There's just no question about that. Here's another kind of shaky one, but it involves 2 top 15 teams. UConn at home hosting Villanova. Villanova's just got some stronger numbers. We're getting 1.5. We say Villanova wins the game, so it's a money line play, and we're taking Villanova. And if not, we still think 1.5 is too many. So I don't know if I should suggest you take a money line. We have a high hit rate on money line, so you might want to factor that in. Texas Tech is a terrible call by the computer. Texas Tech at home to Oklahoma, laying 10.5. We say it's a 10-point game. This is a horrible pick. Do not take Oklahoma in this game. Don't be like the computer. That's one of the 50% that's not going to win. St. Louis hosting St. Joe's, 11.5 the line. We say 13. I feel very good about that. That's a good play. St. Louis. Alabama at Vanderbilt, laying 3.5. Vanderbilt's not as good as you think they are. Okay, I'm just going to make that blanket statement. They're not a very good. They're a good team, but their record is like 500, much like my record. Vanderbilt, surprisingly, not as good of a team as you think they are. They're not a bad team, but by SEC standards, they're not good. They're 14-12. Okay. Auburn beat them by 14. Tennessee had their way with them. They did beat those pesky Tigers there from Missouri, but A&M, 5-point game with A&M. They should have beat A&M by more than that. In fact, if you look at the ratings, 10.43 for Vanderbilt, 10.44 for Texas A&M. So if you think Texas A&M's a good team, then you would think Vanderbilt's a good team. But we all know Texas A&M by SEC standards, is not a good team. They're a good team by the Ohio Valley standards and by the SWAC, the MEAC, and the Southland, but not by SEC standards. Or not. So what am I saying? Take Alabama. Fresno at Air Force. Yeah, they're an 18-point better team if they show up, and there's no reason to doubt that they will because they haven't done the Z game thing. Yeah, you better bring your A game. And we bring our Z game. We see it every night in and night out, where teams just take the night off. That's not in Fresno's DNA. They're not going to do that at Air Force. So I think that's going to be a solid victory for them. Kansas hosting Kansas State. It's always an emotional game. This one's at KU. 11.5's the line. 13 is what the computer says. So KU's our play. Ooh, dogfight. This game, folks, I can't tell you how I wish I could be at this game. So San Diego State's the better team, but man, is Boise just playing fantastic this year. Look to the future. If they keep that coach, I'm talking like Gonzaga level good with what Boise's got going on here. But they're at home hosting, San Diego State. The line is Boise land at 1.5, and it's strictly because they're at home. Because San Diego State's got some really good numbers, better numbers than Boise. But they have to overcome the travel and all that. Now, if San Diego State shows up to play, we think they win by 1. So we've made this a money line, right? Because the underdog, we're saying the underdog wins the game. I don't know if I would play this or walk away. I just know I want to see it. I just want to see this game because that's going to be a dandy. Cal State Bakersfield at Cal Poly. The line's 0.5 point. We say Bakersfield by 6, but just so you know, Cal Poly's got a habit of doing this backside cover, but there's no backside cover when it's a 0.5 point. Okay, the only backside cover would be Cal Poly winning the game. And is that unlikely? Well, we are talking about Cal State Bakersfield. So yeah, it's not unlikely. It's just not probable. It would be improbable. Utah State hosting New Mexico. You got a 0.5 point situation here. New Mexico hasn't been playing very well. Utah State was incredibly hot, but they've cooled off. But I still think Utah State's going to defend the home court here, and I think it's going to be by more than 12. So I would play this game. This game, Nevada is not the better team. UNLV is the better team. Now, this game's in Reno. That's where Nevada is. We have UNLV. It's another money line. We say UNLV rolls into Reno and knocks the Wolfpack off by 7. And they're getting 0.5 point along the way. So that one I like. I like this play a lot. I would bet that play. Okay, folks. That's going to do it for tonight. I don't know how that happened. Must have happened when we weren't looking. We were absolutely dead even. 1,020 wins, 1,020 losses. So, man, I'm just going to have to really think about this. So I have made a decision. I should share this with you. We are going to end this contest when the postseason starts. Now, there's going to be some overlap, okay? But we're going to take all the postseason games and we'll set them into a different contest. It's going to be the same thing. I just got to get rid of this awful number. So we're going to end when the regular season ends. We're going to put this to bed and we're going to start a new one. And the overlapping games, if it's a regular season win, it will go on this. And if it's a postseason win, it will go on the postseason version of this. So I did make that decision. Let's just wipe the slate clean because I know we're going to do better in the postseason than we've done in the regular season. So I want good numbers. Okay, these are not good numbers. These are actually rather bad numbers. Hey, folks, thanks for joining me here. I hope you had as much fun as I have. And we'll see you tomorrow night for the Wednesday edition. And we'll just do the recap since we've already done the prediction show. Okay, that's it. Well, take care. We'll see you later.